Alright, good morning guys. It's roughly 26 degrees today, so it's pretty cold in the bus. Even though we have pretty good insulation, it's still pretty cold. We're gonna head to the town over about 40 miles so we can go to the Home Depot to get some supplies today. We're gonna be working on the ceiling, so let's see what they got, what the lightest, cheapest, best option would be. So every kind of ceiling that we wanted was going to be upwards of $300, possibly $400. So we're going to go with beadboard paneling or wainscoting or whatever you want to call it. So it's about $22 a sheet. So we should be able to get away with a little bit less money.
We are now at my parents' house. We have the beadboard, now we're just figuring out where to notch it.
So we tried to bend the beadboard to the curvature of the roof, and it's a little bit too rigid. We kind of forced it, and
Yeah.
it snapped right there where the curve started in the bus. So we're gonna make it a little bit less than the full width of the bus. So when we hang our cabinets, it'll cover up the rest of the foam that won't be covered by the beadboard.
Right, so it's not going to curve all the way. It's just going to
So
be
it's not
the
going to
flat
cover
part.
all the way to the windows like I was trying to do, and notched around the windows, and it just snapped. So
Yeah.
we're gonna try this a second time a different way and see how it works.
We got the first panel done, and now they're going out to measure the skylight here to do the next one. We're just trying to do trial and error of how to do this correctly, because you learn in a bus you can do things multiple ways, but all of them could be potentially trouble down the road. So it's kind of just doing an estimated guess about what to do in the best way that we can do it. You almost have to do the good enough mindset, because it is a bus. It's not perfectly square. It's not perfect because we're gonna have to cover these parts up with the cabinet, so that's why it's not going all the way down. So right now it's just looking a little rough, but it's just one of those things that we're just gonna have to figure it out and work as we go.
So we finished the ceiling. We got a pretty rough job done. We're gonna come back and cover it up with some trim, cover up the seams, trim out the skylight and try to make it look a little bit better, but that's all we did today.
Yeah, it doesn't look like much. That's all for today. Alright, we last left you off with the beat board ceiling, and it is now the next week, and we cut out the skylight right there, and we're going to continue framing that out and finishing the ceiling today.
So off camera, we painted some trim for the seams of the ceiling where we jointed the bead board together. We're going to cover the seams up, and we painted some more trim to trim out the skylight so it doesn't look so ugly. So what we're doing is, you can see this seam right here where there's a gap. When I press on it, we're going to be putting those pieces of trim that I painted covering up these seams. And at first we brad nailed these bead board up to the blocking that I put in, but I think we're going to go back with screws and put them into the H channel so it'll hold better, because that back panel already pops loose in the back. You can see the big seam right there in the back, and that's because that panel fell already. So we're gonna come back and reinforce it with the trim in the seams and then screw it into the H channel.
Now, while he's doing the rest of the screws, I'm going to putty all these holes. Trace, we now have to take them down and cut them. Seems like a tedious process, but that's the only way to do it. So
let me explain why we have to do that. Because the bus has a slight radius, we can't just leave them square like this because it'll never match up. Since there is a slight radius, we're gonna have to cut the radius on the boards. If we made our roof completely flat like that, it would work perfectly fine. But because it's not, we have to do it this way. Okay, so we got all the boards cut to their proper radii. My math teacher would be very proud of me. It's radii is radius plural, so fun fact. But I'm gonna hang them up now. see how off I am with these cuts. So, cuts are a little bit off. I'm gonna clean it up with the spoke shave. Right here we got a little bit of a lip. Looks like over here we got a little bit of a spot that's not real flush. Over here we got a spot that's not real flush. So I'm cleaning it up real quick with the spoke shave, and then I'm gonna measure the trim that cases this whole thing in right here.
We're done putting everything up. We are now moving on to caulking. Show them our putty knife.
Okay, we don't have a putty knife. Couldn't find one anywhere. So, using a gift card by a random brand. Because I don't know if
It's a used gift card. There's nothing left.
I guess I can say what it is. It's not sponsored. Ace Hardware.
Yeah, we act like we are gonna get
Flagged.
yeah. Alright guys, that's all for this video. We finished part of the roof, got the seams done, got the skylight trimmed out. As you can tell, there's still parts that need plywood, like the parts up here that's going to be inside the cabinets. That's not going to be near as pretty, just because it's going to be in a cabinet and it's severely curved, so it's going to be a little tricky to figure out. But if you enjoyed this video, make sure to like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time. Anything to say?
Give me the camera, I want to show them.
Okay.
I look like a piece of crap. Anyways. Oh no. Oh. Get it. Focus. Okay. So we gotta paint that. We're gonna repaint the whole ceiling.
Yeah. It's a little rough looking like that.
You're in my shot.
Sorry.
That's all, folks.